Hello everyone and welcome back to learning DS, or I mean learning JavaScript with me. I have got the habit of learning this. Okay, so first thing foremost, we will be practicing about what I learned today. I'm not going to post multiple videos in just one video. I will be clearing all the topic because the topics are not that what we can say tough to learn. Okay, first thing foremost is let's learn about hoisting is done, right? Yeah, first let's learn about hoisting. Okay, so let me remove this one. Let me remove this one and make a copy. So what if I can do is I can make app.js copy.js. Okay, and I can simply paste. I will not run this. I will just go over here. I will copy, I will paste this, and I will put it over here and make sure that everything is normal. Okay, so first thing foremost is we are going to learn hoisting. What do you mean by hoisting, how hoisting works, and everything, each and everything I'm going to tell you. See, hoisting in JavaScript plays a very important role. Hoisting in JavaScript. Okay, first let's run our server or the script. Let's open the script which is over here, which is taking a lot of time for some reason, but let's open this. Yeah, so this is the script. Let me open the menu and turn it to this one. Okay, so we are running the script properly, we are doing everything normally, and let's just a minute, little bit bigger so that you also can see that, right? Okay, so hoisting in JavaScript. See, there are two types of hosting. One is going to be the lexical, second is going to be block scope, third is going to be global scope, fourth is going to be local scope. Okay, these are the four level of scopes that are present over here. Indirectly, first we are going to see what do you mean by block scope, then we are going to see global scope, then we are going to see local scope. I know that you know local and global scope, but it is good that you know it. Okay, now let me just bring some of the let me just bring some notes for you. Okay, so we have some notes over here. See, first one is the global execution context, then is the memory phase, then we have the function and function scopes, and then we have the code execution phase, etc. So in the memory execution phase, the var keywords is hoisted, let and const are restricted. In function scopes, the memory execution phase, the function declaration is hoisted and function expressions are not hoisted. Okay, so let's see them one by one. So we are going to first see the lexical scope. Let's see lexical scope. Okay, imagine that I have a function over here, naming it has a parent name. Okay, it is not giving any parameters, so we are not going to use. Okay, this is the parent function. I'm going to go over here and simply call this function. Inside this function I will be saying this hello from. Okay, so I am a parent. Okay, let's call this. Let's go over here and check. See, as you can see over here, the line number 27 is printing I am a parent. Okay, let's unblock this. Now let me teach you what is lexical scope. See, lexical scope is nothing normal. It is just hoisting in from parent to child, child to grandchild, and so on and so forth. Okay, that's just the scope. Okay, so let's create one more function. It is most probably used in functions. Okay, so I'm going to use child over here. I'm going to say I am a child, and I'm going to call this function inside this one. Okay, I'm going to call this function inside this parent, and we are going to see the output. So as you can see, I am a parent which is running 27, I am a child which is running at 30. But notice one thing, what is this creating? This is creating a closure, and we will be talking about closures more, but for now you can see what is the scope and what it is creating. Okay, so let me run a debugger over here. Dubbugger debugger. So inside this debugger you have this whole code, and you're going to run it properly. So I ran it. The parent, inside the call stack, the parent function will be running. It ran. You can see we have the local scope. The function created its local scope. It has the global scope. It has one more thing over here. Inside the local scope there is one more thing, which is the this keyword, which is targeting to the window object. But it also has one more function which is showing the child function, which is showing the code inside it. So this is called as the closure. Now if I go forward, if I when we run this function, as you can see over here, we can easily see that this function is also getting printed and it's running normally. Okay, it got printed. But now let me tell you, if I create a variable, over here, just say it's like person name, parent, parent name. Let's take an example, parent name Lokesh. Okay, and if I grab this and if I come over here and if I make this one as a child name, okay, and if I make this name as Bablu. Now notice what happens over here. I reload this page. Check, parent got selected. Over here you can see parent name, it is because it is showing inside the memory execution phase. That's the reason you got the parent name. Once it is executed, the parent name is filled with the Lokesh keyword. But once the child execution is completed, you can see that you got the local scope, you got this scope, and then afterwards there is this keyword also. The return value is undefined of that particular thing, and this is how you accordingly this is how the things works over here. But notice one thing, if I try to access this parent element over here, if I try to access and if I say my father name is, if I try to access this over here as a parent name, imagine what happens. This is called as lexical scope. Now this parent, inside this parent function, you have this parent name variable. This can be accessed in their children, but the children names cannot be accessed in the parent, and there is where you form a closure. Okay, now you can see over here everything will look normal, but once the execution phase is done, as you can see, closure is saying that I am closure and I am having the parent name which is used from the parent function and which is saying I am Lokesh over here. So this is how lexical scope works. Okay, now notice this thing cannot be used over here. If I try to access child name, it is not accessible, and it is saying over here and it is blinking that we cannot use this, and we will get the error, of course. So if I cross the debugger and if I say over here and if I reload this, uncaught reference child name is not defined. So this is the lexical scoping thing, where lexical scope works from parent to child. I hope you got that. Okay, now that we are done with that, let's uncomment that and let's grab this one and let's say block scope. Let's understand what do you mean by block scope. See, block scope is very much simple. Block scope is between the blocks, whether it can be if block, whether it can be a else block, whether it can be a else if block, whether it can be a while loop, for loop, or we can say do while loop. It can be anywhere. Okay, but it must be between the block. What are the variables that we get over here? So the variables that we get over here are let and cons are restricted, var and let are hoisted. So over here the var keyword is the only one who is function scope, whereas the let and block are global scope. Okay, so now let me tell you, var key is function scope. Okay, let's create a function statement, my full name. It has the my full name. Over here it is saying that my name is something. Okay, I'm calling this function over here my full name. Over here I call this function very normally. Okay, now imagine that you have a if loop. If true is equals to this and you're saying that okay, I am good. Imagine you have a block of code over here. Okay, imagine you have a block of code over here, and if you write let over here, let name which is equal to Lokesh. Okay, and if I grab this and if I make sure that I'm using this over here, I'm using this let name over here very easily. Okay, now if it becomes true, obviously I'm setting it to manually, because true, it becomes always true. So the name keyword will be accessible inside this scope, inside this block of code, or we can say inside this block, because let is a block scope variable. Okay, now imagine, see, You won't get any errors because you're using everything properly. But the moment I use this outside, if I use this outside, I cannot access that. The reason is I cannot access it because, let me refresh it. Line number 53, let name equals to true console dot okay, so name is not okay, so it had any error. The person name over here, of course. So the person name, of course. Okay, so over here you can see that person name is not defined at line number 53. Person name is not defined at line number 53 because the if statement, or we can say the let keyword, is making sure that whatever values you create, whatever variables you create are inside that scope only, and accordingly let and const play an important role over here. Now let's talk about var keyword. Notice now, if I target the var keyword, if I use the var keyword, the var keyword will not only target this, it will go and check that am I a part of a parent, am I a part of a function's parent. So it will block over here. So now this person name can be used over here. As you can see over here, location is used, and if I reload this, you will see that same it is printing. Okay, and I can use this over here as well. I can use this over here as well because it is undefined. The reason is it got printed and it is undefined because it is in the memory scope. That's the reason it is showing undefined. Okay, but it is not giving any error. Understood now, because of the memory execution phase. But over here, as you can see, the thing is like that. Now let me tell you, there is one more thing. Now if I use this, right, if I use person, now I can use that person anywhere. I can use this person anywhere. Even if I go and console person name outside, I can see that I got the person name anywhere over there. Okay, so I just need to reload it. Okay, the strict variable. Okay, so my JavaScript is preventing me from using strict variable. That's the reason it's having issue. But if you create something like that, then you cannot I mean, you can easily access this particular thing anywhere. Okay, but now it's not using because of the strict mode access. Okay, so this was all about what? Local scope. Now the left one is global, the block scope. Now left one is global and local scope. Global I already told you. Local is something that we really discussed earlier, which was inside the memory location, where there is the scope, then where there is the this keyword which targets the window object, so on and so forth. Okay, now let's come forward and make sure that this is not completed. Okay, now the second thing we are going to use is set timeout. I don't think you need to understand this right now, but it is very much easy to understand. We will be talking more about this. Set interval. Okay, so what it is doing, see, set timeout, what it will do is it will set a timeout. As you know, high order functions are those functions where we call another function inside it. So set timeout, I call this function, it is a predefined function used in JavaScript. Over here we need to make sure that you pass one more function. Now you can create a function outside like that. You can create a function like that, just like say, and it will like greetings like this. So if you just copy this and paste it over here, it will go and sit there automatically. I mean, it will not give you any errors, and you just need to perform some, or you just need to add little bit of timeout. So it will print after 3 seconds. Okay, the greetings it will console after 3 seconds. Notice how it gets consoled over here. So if I reload this page, 1 2 3, after 3 seconds it got printed over here. So this is the use of set timeout. Now you might saying that we can choose anything. Yes, you can do anything, but it is inside the milliseconds. You can target any time that you want. The next thing that I want to do is, there is one more way of creating set timeout, which is using the arrow function. Now this arrow function is an anonymous function. We don't need to declare any name to it, so it will run accordingly. Okay, so I will say greeting from arrow function. Okay, now as you can see, first what will be printed? Yeah, timeout is not defined for, yeah. So first it will print the greeting and then it will automatically print greeting from the new array. Now notice the one thing. Now if I write something over here, script completed, okay, notice that the script completed ran first and after that set timeout worked. Now why is this happening? It is because of synchronous JavaScript. The by default JavaScript runs in synchronously. I mean synchronously, not asynchronously. It's running synchron. That's the reason the set timeout is telling that I will take my time to run. Please go ahead and print whatever you want. That's the reason it is doing that. Okay, that's the reason we are getting this to see. Now let's talk about something called as set interval. Set interval is similar to timeout, but what it will do is it will keep on printing. It will keep on printing till your battery doesn't get over. Okay, greetings, and it will keep on printing continuously. If I go over here, as you can see, it got the set timeout, the setting greetings. Now once again it will start print greetings. Once again, after 3 seconds it is getting printed till your code doesn't get completed, or we can say till your battery doesn't get over. This is what it prints. Okay, so this is how set timeout and interval works. Now there is one more thing which is clear timing out. In order to clear that, but we will be looking that later on. So thank you so much for watching and I hope you had a great day.